Good morning everyone, the MMDA are back on the road. Right now they're in Manila. They just stopped this gentleman here for riding without a helmet. He's got very shiny shoes and he's dressed very well, but unfortunately no helmet. So they'll have to issue him a ticket and then send him on. And they'll advise him to push the bike until he gets a helmet. So you can see they've now landed on this road. I won't try and pronounce the name of the road, but you can see there are a lot of tricycles parked here, a lot of regular vehicles parked here. So they're just issuing tickets now, and of course the sidewalk clearing team are also here, so they'll be clearing sidewalk obstructions, the road obstructions and things like that. And you might be wondering, why is there a tow truck if the MMDA aren't towing illegally parked vehicles anymore? Well, that's to deal with those situations where they catch a driver, they don't have a license, or they come across a vehicle that doesn't have a license plate and there's no driver, which is quite common. For example, I can see one right here. This tricycle doesn't have a plate, which means they can't issue a ticket unless a driver appears. So this is the kind of thing that you could expect to see on the back of a tow truck if no driver. I'd say this is probably one of the first times I've seen the enforcers outnumbered by the number of parked vehicles and the number of residents. There's just too many. It is starting to clear up. You can see the road's opening up again. I mean, if you look at how wide this road is, it's pretty much the equivalent of 4 or 5 lanes. But when they first arrived, there was just a narrow space in the middle. And that's what I've said before. People keep saying, hey, you don't need enforcement, you need to build more roads. Why are you building more roads if they're just going to end up like this? So for me, enforcement is important. But of course you want to see more action at the local level, because it shouldn't all be on the shoulders of the MMDA, and it's not practical for them to do everything. They just don't have the manpower and the resources to cover every road every day. Anyway, they are making a difference, so it's positive to see.
Kasi ito po, sir, ito po ipapakita nyo rin sa impounding para makuha nyo po yung tricycle nyo. Pag hindi nyo kinota, hindi nyo makukuha yung tricycle nyo. Kuhain nyo po.
Alisin mo dapat ang motor mo, tricycle mo.
Tingnan ko driver, sir.
Hawak mo ito, Sosi. Alisin mo dapat. Tapos hiningi sa'yo yung lisensya, sabi mo, wala kang lisensya. Di natural kinarga.
Hindi nga, sir, kasi ililipat ko sana. Yung driver ko tulog pa. Kumuha kayo ng ibang driver na may lisensya. Oo nga, sir. Ba't hindi kakarga na ang nila? Eh, sinabi nyo nga, sir, wala kayong lisensya. Hindi nga ako driver, sir. Papasok ako sa trabaho, sir. O, paano mo i-drive, sir, kung wala kang lisensya? Wala kang karapatang mag-lisensya. Tatanggalin ko lang sana, sir. Ililipat ko sa kabila, eh. Hindi, wala nga po kayong karapatang mag-alis kung wala po kayong lisensya. Kahit po kayo yung may... Paano kayo nakakuha ng tricycle, eh? Wala pala kayong lisensya. Ayun, sir, ulukan yan, sir. Binili ko lang sa kapitbahay na papahatak na yan, sir. Kasi sayang naman yung kwan niya. So ganito na, sir, pagkaanin na lang natin. Tawagin mo yung driver mo, ibigay mo ito, kasamahin mo na ngayon para makuha niya kagad.
So apparently what happened is the Kagawa came out to say, hey, that's my tricycle, and then tried to drive it away. At which point they said to him, can we see your driver's license? Doesn't appear to have one, or can't show one at least, and that's why they impounded it for driving without license. And you can see the sidewalk clearing team have been busy putting things on the back of the truck. If nobody comes out to claim them and take them inside their home, this is where they end up. And the ticketing continues further down the road. They've just been leaving the tickets with the bikes because there's no drivers. Like I mentioned, the MMDA are not towing illegally parked vehicles anymore. As you move further down the road, you can see there's a bunch of stalls on the sidewalk here. I don't know what the team have planned for this. Let's see. I can see one of the enforcers is now speaking to this lady about the business set up here on the sidewalk. They'll ask if there's a permit and such like, although I don't think there will be because it's the sidewalk. You can see that this business here is also built on the sidewalk, some kind of restaurant, eatery type thing. It's amazing to see how this road is transforming. You got people carrying away the sidecars of tricycles, you got people who took their chickens off the sidewalk, washing machine. Of course, lots of people are pushing their motorcycles away. The road is really opening up again, but why is it the MMDA is doing this? Why isn't it the barangay? Well, I'm not sure, but it's someone's doing it. I guess that's better than nothing. This is another thing I've seen quite a lot here in Manila City, this piso net. Basically pay to use a computer, but again it's on the sidewalk. So you can see they're just taking those piso net machines inside now. There's actually a lot of space inside, but they said they converted it to a chapel, and that's why they put the business aspect outside. Over here you can see they're putting this motorcycle on the back of the tow truck. Why? Well, there's no license plate, so they can't write out a ticket, and that's why it's going on the back of the tow truck. That's the thing with motorcycles. Most of them don't have a plate, so you can't write them a ticket unless the driver is there. Apparently this structure over here is actually a bathroom toilet, but it's built on the sidewalk. I think the lady said that just go ahead and tear it down. Okay, down it comes now. How does it look? Well, it's pretty much a hole in the ground with a little bit of wood over it. The downside of having so many people around here and so many vehicles is it's going to make blurring it pretty much impossible. The sidewalk clearing team are now moving on to this shop here on the sidewalk. They asked the owners to dismantle it themselves and move their stuff, but they said they have permission of the barangay chairman, so instead it will be the sidewalk clearing team that would do it. Over here is another public bathroom. It's basically just a plastic bottle with a hose pipe connected, so you pee in there and then it goes down into the sewer. Anyway, they're continuing to deconstruct this one. There's a little bit of protest from the shopkeeper, but they're reminding her that it is a sidewalk. It's not a place for businesses, unfortunately. Over here they're deconstructing this cage. I assume it's probably for chicken, maybe it could have been for dogs, but they'll break it down so that it can fit on the back of the truck. Let's continue along the road and see how things look. You can see a lot of different cartons and stores over here. Looks like they're being used for storage though. Over here these guys are just packing up this shop now. It's actually a vulcanizing shop, but it's on wheels so that they can wheel it away when the authorities come. And here it goes now. The good thing is that it's moving out of the road. The bad thing is that it's on wheels, so they'll probably just wheel it back after the MMDA leave. They just stopped this motorcycle here. You can see both the driver and the passenger aren't wearing helmets, so they'll issue a ticket. No plate on the back either, and wearing slippers. And over here they're issuing a ticket to the owner of this store. You can see it's built in the road, so they'll issue a ticket and then advise them to demolish it. And they're just stopping this motorcycle rider now. The wife and baby on the back, no helmet. Very dangerous to have a baby on a motorcycle. And over here they stop this gentleman riding without a helmet, and one more motorcycle over here. Both the driver and passenger not wearing helmets. I can see they have at least one helmet on the bike but not wearing it, unfortunately. And over here they're issuing a ticket to the owner of this vulcanizing shop. It's built on a sidewalk. What does that mean? Pedestrians will have to walk in the road. That adds to congestion. It also causes accidents, so they'll issue a ticket and again advise them it has to be demolished. The team are now working on this. There's a bunch of houses built on the sidewalk. That's really down to the barangay and city to deal with. When it's a living space, it's a bit more complicated. But on the other side they've set up a bunch of shops selling stuff, like little sari store on the sidewalk kind of thing. So that one they will be dealing with the business side of things. They're advising them now, move what you can, and the rest of it will go on the back of the truck. One more rider stops here for no helmet plus wearing slippers, and he already has a ticket for no helmet. And I can see in the background they're stopping that motorcycle rider, lady on the back, no helmet. And one more motorcycle over here, both the driver and passenger without helmets. They actually had a little bit of a hard time stopping them, so they just stopped this motorcycle rider. It was this man and the 3 children all on one bike, no helmets. Very dangerous. He can't show a license either, so the bike is going on the back of the tow truck. They just flagged over this tricycle now because they noticed there's no markings on it, there's no plate, so they're verifying everything now to see what's going on with this. Over here they're issuing a ticket to this gentleman, stopped riding without a helmet. He does have a helmet there, but he said he didn't want to mess up his hair, so that's 1,500 unfortunately. And one more rider over here stopped, not wearing a helmet. Over here they stopped this lady riding without a helmet, and if you look at the plate here you can see it's actually hidden by a DepEd plate that's over the top of the real one. If you look at this car and the one behind it, you can see they're obstructing what should be the sidewalk. They've already been issued tickets, they're just here on the windshield. Now of course the problem with these kind of signs is that people often actually take it as a challenge. Same with no parking, you'll see vehicles parked directly under a sign that says no parking even if the rest of the road's empty. So people often take these signs as a challenge. The sidewalk clearing team are actually now walking back down the road to an area they cleared earlier. They told the owner of these bollards, you can't have them here in the road, and the owner agreed to move them, and they did move them. And then once the team continued, they put them all back in the road again. So now they're being confiscated to make sure they don't end up there again. They did actually help the owners move these. They put them all on their private property. Unfortunately, when they move forward, they just put them out again. So that's why they're being confiscated this time.